The new Quest 3S versus Quest 3. Is Meta's new budget VR headset worth it, or should you just get a Quest 3? Let's put them head to head and compare the hardware and specs, the comfort, accessories, gaming experience, and of course pricing to see which one to get. This video will help you decide and ensure you make the right choice. I've left affiliate links for both headsets in the description, which include Batman Arkham Shadow and an additional $30 in store credit. Thanks Meta for sending me the 3S, now let's get into it. They both share a lot of specs, including the XR2 Gen 2 processor and 8 GB of RAM. The mixed reality cameras are also the same 4 megapixel 18 ppd ones, as well as identical speakers and controllers. But there are some key differences that you need to be aware of before choosing which one to buy. First off, the lenses. The Quest 3S features the older Fresnel lens type, which is typically prone to a smaller sweet spot, less edge-to-edge clarity, and more glare in high-contrast scenes. The Quest 3 on the other hand uses pancake lenses, and these are industry-leading and the best ones I've seen on any headset, including much more expensive ones. So the point here, without a doubt, goes to the Quest 3. That being said, the lenses on the 3S are still very good and you won't have a bad experience while using them. Unless you've tried the 3's pancake lenses, you will still enjoy the 3S ones a lot. And even though they look basically identical to the old Quest 2 ones, for some reason they feel and look a lot better. I'm working on a deeper comparison between the Quest 3S and the Quest 2, so subscribe if you're interested in that. There is also a major difference when it comes to the screen. The Quest 3S uses a single screen as opposed to the dual screens used in the 3. This does have a lower resolution on paper, being an 1832 by 1920 pixels per eye screen, compared to the higher 2064 by 2208 per eye of the Quest 3. In terms of PPD, the 3S has a value of 20 pixels per degree versus the Quest 3's 25 PPD. Coupled with the lenses, overall it's a considerable difference. But keep in mind that most standalone games don't run at full resolution anyway, so at least in terms of raw resolution, you won't necessarily see a huge difference, with most of the added visual sharpness being from the actual lenses rather than the resolution. They also both feature the same refresh rate options at 72, 90 and 120 Hz. Due to the difference in screen and most importantly lenses, you will see a slightly improved battery life on the new Quest 3S, despite it having a smaller 4324 mAh battery compared to the 3's 5060 mAh one. This is likely due to the fact that Fresnel lenses require less brightness from the screen, and also probably in part due to the lower resolution, meaning the XR2 Gen 2 chip needs to push less pixels, consuming less energy overall. Where you will see a big upgrade on the Quest 3 is in the field of view, which is closely tied to both the lenses and the screen. Again, similar to the lenses, this is something that can only be noticed when putting the two side by side, but it doesn't mean you can't still really enjoy the Quest 3S. To give you some numbers, the 3S has an FOV of 96 horizontal and 90 vertical, compared to a whopping 110 horizontal and 96 vertical on the Quest 3. If you're new to VR, this simply means that you can see more and have a wider view of whichever activity you're engaged in. Now let's talk about a few other important details around the hardware. And number one is the IPD adjustment, which lets you align the lenses to your eyes. The Quest 3S uses the same type of 3-step adjustment from the Quest 2, which isn't quite ideal since it means you will just have to go with whichever setting is closest to your actual IPD. This is not a deal-breaking compromise for the price, but the continuous IPD adjustment on the Quest 3 is vastly superior, as you can get it exactly matching your eyes. Wrapping up with the hardware side, the 3S lacks an audio jack and is also missing the charging pins on the bottom, so a Quest 3 style dock won't be an option, but I'll go over that in more detail in the accessories part of the video. Also, the depth sensor is gone and Meta has instead opted for a software depth sensing solution, which from a technical standpoint will not be as accurate as the hardware one on the Quest 3, but we'll talk about what that means when we get to the gaming experience later on. But they've also added something that the Quest 3 doesn't have, which is 2 flood LEDs used for illumination, which should mean better and more reliable tracking in lower light situations. And let's also do a quick microphone test comparing the two. This is the microphone on the Quest 3. Test 1, 2, 3. And this is a test of the microphone on the Quest 3S. Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. Let me know in the comments if you could tell the difference and which one sounded better to you. I'm personally gonna do what I do with every VR headset I own, and that's getting crystal clear audio using an Antlion Mod Mic Wireless, who are also kindly sponsoring this segment. The Mod Mic is incredibly easy to attach to any VR headset or pair of headphones by just using this magnetic attachment. You'll get a few of these with any of their microphones, so it's easy to snap it on and off any device you want to use it with. It's plug and play using the included USB dongle, and it's been incredibly reliable for the past 4 years year since I got it. It's flexible, has a solid build, and very versatile. And by the way, this whole section was recorded with the Mod Mic wireless, so you can hear how awesome it sounds for yourself, and I've done no post-processing at all. Check out the link in the description. Thanks Antlion for sponsoring this segment, and now back to the video. Moving on to comfort, the Quest 3S is a whopping 1 gram lighter than the Quest 3, so there isn't much of a difference there, but it is thicker overall, so the center of gravity is pushed forward a bit. It still comes with a soft strap in the box, but it is a redesigned one that I found pretty decent, which is more than I can say for the Quest 3 one that I absolutely could not stand. As with all Meta headsets, I still highly recommend replacing the stock strap if you want better comfort, battery life, or both, and that perfectly leads us into the accessories conversation. The great news here is that most Quest 3 accessories will work on the 3S too, with 2 exceptions. It usually takes a bit of time after a new headset launches for accessories to become available, so it's awesome that we already have a ton of them out now. The 2 exceptions I've mentioned are charging docks due to the lack of charging pins on the 3S, and secondly the facial interfaces. You will need one specifically designed for the 3S, and I already have a few on hand, so subscribe to see my review of them very soon. Even for the accessories that do fit both headsets, like the head straps, just be aware that there will still be ones meant for the 3S, which mostly comes down to covering up the hole where the audio jack is on the 3, and potentially a lower price point to match the target audience of the 3S. Again, I'm already testing a few, like the new 3S line from Kiwi Design, which I'll be posting a video about in the next few days. Okay, let's talk games, because for 99% of buyers, that will still likely be the main use case. Since the 2 headsets share the same processor and amount of RAM, they can run the exact same games, including Quest 3 exclusives like Batman. But what is the gaming experience actually like? Well, I was honestly expecting the older lenses to bother me quite a bit coming from the Quest 3, but I've enjoyed the 3S a lot in every title I tried. The increased horsepower over the Quest 2 is noticeable in everything from navigating menus to loading games and of course playing them. It's all buttery smooth, and the same theme extends here, which is that if you've never experienced the Quest 3's better lenses, you won't feel like you're sacrificing much with the 3S. And that leads us to the big selling point of the Quest 3S, the price. This new headset was never meant to be better than the Quest 3, but rather a budget option that makes a few sacrifices that I personally think are worth it for the lower price if you're on a budget. But there is a catch here, and that's how much storage you think you need. The Quest 3S comes in at $299 for the 128GB option and $399 for the 256GB option. If you're considering the smaller one, then I'd say go for it. Especially if you're upgrading from a Quest, Quest 2, or even Rift, you're gonna have a great experience with the 3S. But if you're thinking about the 256 version, then I seriously urge you to consider spending an extra $100, because the 512GB Quest 3 has also been permanently discounted to just $499. And that's a big jump from $299, but not that much of a stretch from the $399 price tag. Especially when you consider that for that extra $100 you're getting double the storage, considerably better lenses, a headphone jack and charging pins, as well as a full IPD adjustment slider. And I think Meta knows all this, so I'd be surprised if many people will buy the mid-level $399 option, because it just doesn't make much sense. Also, another thing to note on pricing. If you go for the monthly Play Now, Pay Later option, the prices are $20, $25, or $30 per month for the 3 options. So in that case, then I would personally just go with the Quest 3 without a second thought, because a $10 per month difference from the 128GB 3S to the 3 is not that much and gives you a considerably better headset overall. Which one are you thinking of getting? Let me know in the comments and ask me anything you'd like to know that might help your decision. Check out some of my other videos. I hope you found this useful, and I'll catch you soon. Cheers, guys.